Hey, what's up guys, Totallydubbed here, and today I'm doing a video review for the SoundPEATS Q21s. Now these are Bluetooth earphones which are made to go on the go, and especially if you want to go jogging or running. They feature Bluetooth 4.1 and have aptX codec. They've got a little control pod which is useful for any sort of device, Android or iPhone alike. And basically I was interested in reviewing these because I'd previously reviewed the Q12s, which I have in my hand over here. And also my actual go-to earphones right now when I'm cycling and when I'm actually playing Pokemon Go, for example, are these ones. It's the Sumvision Psych Esprit earphones, which are around £17. Link will be down in the description for them of my review, so do check them out. So very much intrigued to see how the Q21 stands up. Now you might be wondering, what is the price? Well, interestingly enough, they come in at the same price as the Q12s. Now I'm not sure if this is just like marketing wise on Amazon, but essentially you can find the Q21s right now on Amazon for £21, and the Q12s can be found for £19.60. So it's a very small difference in price, but supposedly the RRP of these earphones is quite expensive, like £45 or so. But anyway, long story short, that's the price I'm reviewing them at, £21, so do bear that in mind if the price increases or decreases. So in the box, which is very small, you've got a nice little carrying pouch which has a mesh inside for keeping your tips and obviously storing down the earphones. You've got a micro USB to USB cable, so yes, they can be charged via normal micro USB connection, which is fantastic. You've got a shirt clip, you've got tons of ear hooks which are included and different types, some are thinner and some aren't. And then you've got medium, small and large silicone ear tips, and you've got a manual included. Nothing too much of interest there, but I love the fact that you've got so many accessories and the fact that you've got all different types of sizes, including the ear hooks, which makes it fantastic for all different types of users. Now the earphones themselves are very well built. Now it's got a flat cable, which is a bit annoying because it does have a bit of microphonics, aka cable noise. You can reduce that and you can shorten out the cable by basically looping it via the included cable management mini tool that's there. The earphones on their right hand side, as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure it's the right hand side. Yeah, the right hand side have got a little control pod. Now the control pod is used to obviously charge the device itself. There's a little flap over here that opens up with the micro USB. I'm a little bit wary about this little flap. It's quite flimsy, but nevertheless it works as intended. But just over in the long run, I think that will come loose. It's got a microphone that's included, and you've got play, pause functionalities, skip and previous, which is used by holding the plus and minus buttons, at least on Android. And if you double tap the middle button, it goes and launches into a recent call, as in like a recent contact. And you can obviously increase the volume up and down. The earphones are very well built. Now they have a magnetic sort of hold over here, which is great in terms of storing them away. The Q12s did have this, but it's not as strong, so I like that. But the biggest difference you'll notice is that they're actually made out of metal, as in the housing is made out of metal, and that makes a massive difference in terms of sound, and I'll get into that in just a second. But it makes a massive difference in terms of sound, but in terms of build quality goes, it just looks a lot more professional, looks a lot better in terms of premium quality. It is a little bit heavy, but the ear hooks do prevent them from sliding out or being too much of a burden on your ears. On top of that, the ear hooks mean that you can go running with them, shake your head left and right, and they won't fall out, which is fantastic. So make sure you have the right ear tip and the right ear hook, and I'm sure it won't fall out. On the downside, due to the size, and you can see that they're quite large, especially in terms of versus the Q21s, you can see they're a little bit bigger. They do stick out of your ears, so you do look a little bit like Frankenstein, and they do remind me of the Ultimate Ears TF10s. If you guys are aware of those, then you'll know what I'm talking about. They kind of stick out of your ears quite a lot, and there's no getting around that, so do bear that in mind. They're worn straight down, which is pretty obvious, but anyway, just in case you were curious about wearing them over the ear, they're made to wear straight down. Now let's move on to the sound quality, which is the most important part, at least for me, and I must say I'm very impressed with the sound quality of the earphones. The Q21s absolutely destroyed their little younger brothers, the Q12s, in almost every department. When I say almost every, I mean every department. The biggest thing that was lacking with the Q12s is the fact of their soundstage. Their soundstage felt it was lacking. It didn't have much depth or width to it. And on top of that, the decay just sounded a little bit odd, felt kind of cheap, and that's, I guess, mainly due to the plastic construction. Now moving on to the metal construction of the Q21s, I was very impressed with that. The soundstage had a lot of depth to it, especially due to its size. The drivers had loads of space to move, and on top of that had a lot of room to breathe. It wasn't that wide in terms of sound. I felt my Sunvision Psych, where Esprit earphones had a much wider soundstage. In terms of soundstage goes, these come out on top of the Q21s. But nevertheless, I was very much impressed with the soundstage reproduction, especially over the Q12s. Now moving on to the lows, I found that the sub bass lacked a little bit. The Psych Esprit has a fantastic sub bass response and a mid bass slam. A bit overwhelming in a mid bass, but the Q21s have a more lean approach, so it's a very precise mid bass slam, and its sub bass does roll off and does cut off, but it is present. In other words, you do get a sub bass extension, which is good given its price, just not as good as the Esprit earphones. However, where it does shine is its mids and highs, and something that really does put the Esprit to shame in that respect. The mids are fantastic. They come out very well. They're forward sounding, and it doesn't feel like you're missing anything in terms of mids. You don't have that mid bass leakage as you do with the Esprit. The Q21s have a fantastic mid-range reproduction. The highs are very good. They don't roll off that well, as in they don't roll off that much. There's a little bit of roll off on the top end, but what I did find is that they're slightly sibilant, and slightly sibilant means like that's sibilant, almost like I'm saying the S's. Sibilant is in the name. It means that it can cause a bit of discomfort on the very high-end tones, so do bear that in mind. If you listen to a lot of vocals, then you might find it a little bit uncomfortable to hear over long periods of time or at louder volume, so bear that in mind when you're listening to these earphones. But other than that, the highs were actually impressive. So overall, the sound quality of the Q21s is very impressive, and the overall package that you get with all the different ear tips and even the case itself is a great job by SoundPEATS. I'm so impressed with them. That's why I chose to make this video. Given the fact they're about £21, it means they also come in for free delivery in the UK on Amazon, so you don't have to worry about any delivery charges. So the cost you're paying is £21 up front, and I must say, for that price, they're one of the best Bluetooth earphones I've come across. Especially given the fact that they have Bluetooth aptX enabled. In other words, you don't lose that much quality over Bluetooth versus wired. So very, very impressed with the SoundPEATS Q21s. I should also mention Bluetooth range. I forgot to mention that. Bluetooth range was around 10 meters through walls, which is about standard for a Bluetooth 4.X device. I was expecting just a little bit more, like 15 meters range, but anyway, 10 meters range through walls is fantastic, and I'm very much impressed with that. Battery life, I didn't really get to test because I didn't run it dry, so to speak, but given the Psych and the Q12s, they run for about 8 hours, so 6 to 8 hours of continuous playback. I expect that the same from these, especially given the description that I read online. So overall, in terms of the battery life, it's to 6 to 8 hours is what I would expect, and that is what is quoted at least online. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Charging time, it's very small. Given the size of the battery, it takes about 1 hour to charge from empty. Anyway guys, I've been Totally Dubbed. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. Make sure you give it a like, comment and subscribe if you want to see more. Again, honest, unpaid, independent review comes very, very thin now on YouTube or even Amazon, so to speak. So make sure you do support the page, share and favorite the video, as it really helps the channel grow. Alright guys, I've been Totally Dubbed. Take care and bye-bye.